Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and today I'm so excited that I've got this lady on the podcast. You guys are going to find her a wealth of information, and you're just going to love her. So, I'm going to give a brief intro and then we're going to jump into it. So, I'm thrilled to welcome Trish Kimble. She is a writer, a coach, a mentor, and a speaker who embodies resilience and reinvention. Trish shared her story in the Women Like Me book, Becoming Broken and Beautiful, with her powerful chapter, Invincible Mindset, Building My Wall of Resilience. Wait till you hear about her story. In it, she opens up about the personal battles she's faced, including the heartbreak of her children's struggles with addiction and how she developed the strength to rise, rebuild, and thrive. She also has a program that many of my listeners might want to be interested in, and that's called Ageless Thriving. So we're going to chat briefly about that as well. And she's also, on top of all of that, she's also trains virtual assistants. And so we can talk about that too. So Trish, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, Julie. It's my pleasure. I'm really excited to join you on this and just be a part of the whole community you are involved in.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Was there anything I missed? Anything else you want to highlight before we dive in?
No, I'm busy enough that pretty much covers
Covers it?
yeah, a little
Okay,
bit here.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your story first. So, what inspired you to share that particular story in the book?
I think because that was probably um, the hardest thing for me to share. Excuse me, sorry. And I think that's because I find the closer something is to my heart, the more personal it is, the harder it is to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, being a parent is the hardest job. And we don't always make the right decisions to help our children. We try. But I think, as I said in my story, it doesn't come with an instruction manual or a tour guide. And so, we do the best we can.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's not always good enough. So it was, for me, probably the hardest thing for me to deal with and learn how to cope and carry on with my life.
Yeah.
I still had to go to work and have, the siblings. It wasn't just, one. I have three children. So um I am hoping that by telling that my story, maybe some other women will understand or relate to that and know that they're not alone.
That is such a good reason. Such a good reason. And there are, I'm sure, be with what's going on in the world these days, we all need the support and positivity that we can find. And your story really does. There's definitely some turmoil in there and some rough patches, but it comes out okay in the end.
Yeah, well, I think that's how I've learned, the building my wall of resilience. That's what kept me going. That's what enabled me to carry on with life no matter what was going on inside or, in my family. And many of us have to do the same thing. It's how you do it, and how you handle yourself. And
Mm,
for me, that's what worked.
yeah.
So
What do you think the turning point was when you realized you had to build that wall?
that stems back to my teenage years.
Ah,
Um, a lot had happened in my childhood. Um, Much of it was secretive, as
mhm,
it is in many families,
mhm.
for various reasons.
Yes.
But the fact of it is, it was. But then when I was 16, I lost both my parents as the result of a car accident. And having to deal with all of that and carry on and, go with life, I was drowning in guilt and grief and knew I couldn't carry on like that.
Mhm.
So for me, I think that's when I started building this wall. Um, it was a way to contain my emotions as well as the grief and the shame and the guilt. Um, and it's just that was my survival. That was how I survived. I don't turn to drug. I'm not a drug person, and I, you know, don't even drink that much either. A
Yeah,
glass of wine here and there. So I didn't use those as my crutch. Mine
right.
was how can I do this and still get on with my life? And so
Yeah.
it was like a wall that I built, and it wasn't so much to keep people out. It was just to be able to stand on myself and carry on.
Yeah. Well, it's almost there's walls that people build that
Hmm.
maybe are not the best to have, but there's walls of protection.
Yeah,
And I think we need those a lot. And that's like boundaries and all of those other kinds of things. And we need those to keep our sanity.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, for women listening who feel like challenges are too heavy, what would be their first few steps in cultivating resilience? What would you suggest to them?
Well, to me, it's all about the choices you make.
Mm,
Um, your attitude is not something you're born with, you learn it. And you could have a bad attitude, or you could have a good and opportunistic attitude. For me, I think for other women, that's probably the first thing they need to focus on themselves is choose to look at the opportunistic
mm,
attitude, the positive attitude,
mhm.
because otherwise, um, not only will you hurt yourself by having the bad attitude, but you'll hurt everybody around you,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it won't help you at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by making that choice to look at the opportunities, to focus on the positive, in whatever way, and be
Mhm.
grateful for what you have. It might be just grateful you can have a hot cup of tea in the afternoon. That
No,
it doesn't
exactly.
have to be something major.
Oh,
It can be some
exactly.
little thing to be grateful for.
Yeah. I believe everything you said was, I believe all of that. But I really believe that gratitude is
Oh,
what can change your life.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So many times, yeah, and I hear it all the time. People just complain about everything.
Yeah.
Everything's, I mean, the world isn't great.
No,
Not
it's
now.
not
There's
these
lots
days.
happening. And we can sit there and we can complain and we can look at all the negative things. But
Hmm.
if you stop for a moment and reflect on what's good in your life,
Hmm.
what you're grateful for, and
Hmm.
focus on that, the rest will start to come in. It'll fall into place, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
immediately and not in big
No,
steps,
no.
but yeah, gratitude is huge.
Mhm. I think us women, we tend to sometimes worry about things that maybe don't even, it hasn't even happened,
Oh,
and you're worrying about it,
oh yeah. Yeah,
you
it's
know?
it's those what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what if this or what if that and you could spend a lot of time on that and
You
you're never going to
could.
solve it. And you're never gonna,
Yeah.
unless you're some psychic person that can see the future, you're not going to know what's going to
Hmm.
happen. So don't waste your time on the what ifs or what
Yes.
if I had done this,
Yeah.
whether it's past or future.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because
Well,
so many people I know dwell on the past. What
yes.
happened to me?
Yeah.
And you know, all of us have stories that have happened to us. Some of them
Everybody.
more tragic than others. And yeah,
Yes.
you could sit there and focus on that,
Hmm.
but you're not going to change it.
No.
What's happened has happened.
Yes.
So, you know, saying, well, what if I had done this? Maybe this would have happened. Or what
Mhm.
if this happens? What am I going to do? Well, you know, you can be proactive
Yes.
and plan to say, well, yeah, what if that scenario comes up? How am I going to deal with it?
Yeah.
And that's a positive thing. But again, it's all about the choices you make and
Yeah.
where you want to put your focus.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't stand and stare at an empty refrigerator and say, oh, it'll fill up on its own. I'm sure it'll be full tomorrow morning. You have to,
Yeah,
we still have stuff we have to take care of.
yeah.
But be positive about the fact that you have a refrigerator.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Be
Yeah.
grateful for what you do have, as I said,
Yes.
you know, and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we've all spent many times where you're staring at the fridge and it's empty or it's, you know, got hardly anything. And what
Yeah.
do I do? You know, well,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So you often say mindset is everything. So can you share a practical example of how shifting your mindset completely changed the outcome of any situation? Do you have a situation you can tell us about
uh,
that you want to share? If not, that's okay. Like, oh, do I need to share that?
there's probably a few, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um, I think business wise,
Yes.
I'll take the example of when I started my business 6 years ago. I decided I would retire from the corporate world and I would start my business. And I had taken some training the year before I retired. And I had started with the passion I'd had as a child. I did public speaking as a child in elementary school, loved it,
Oh,
right? And I really liked doing that. And I liked stories and that. So I decided, well, I'd like that. And I have, you know, 35, 40 years of experience in an office that I can draw on and the way to handle things or not handle them. So I started out that I was going to be a motivational speaker. I had a couple of engagements going, and then COVID-19
right.
came into play a month
Mhm.
after I started my business. And all my speaking engagements phoned and said, we have to cancel, we have to cancel, we can't do it, right? Now, you have to remember that was before Zoom was really major.
Yes.
People weren't, I wished I'd had stock in Zoom back
Yeah.
then because it
Yes,
took off.
exactly.
But as a new speaker, I just didn't have the experience to pivot over to speaking. And so you know, a few days and I kind of, well, okay, well, maybe that's a sign I should just not do anything, you know, and I should do that. And I started to kind of wallow in self-pity
Mm,
and, oh, you
mhm.
know, what am I going to do? I started this and, you know, and on and on and on. And then the next day I got up and I'm like, this is not how I work. This is not me.
Mhm.
This is not the mindset I need to have a business. So right then and there, I said, okay, what am I going to do? What can I do? Obviously, the speaking isn't going to happen. What am I going to do? And I said, well, you know, I had been bookkeeper, I'd been an executive assistant. Well, I know how to do that. All right, let's do that. And so it was a really definite mindset shift that got me through that when I pivoted over to the administration.
Ah,
And that was the only way I could. I think that one is one of the pivotal times. There are other ones, but that one was a pivotal moment where I had to tell myself, you
yeah.
know, and make that mindset shift.
That was COVID-19 was tough for a lot of people. And
Oh,
but
yeah.
and there was a lot of sadness that came out of it, but there was a lot of shifting.
Yes.
Like I just thought, And not all that shifting was bad.
No,
It kind
no.
of got a lot of us where we needed to go because we were stuck.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I could have carried on and been the speaker and just maybe delayed it or something. But no, I agree. There's a reason it was a hard situation for so many for
Yeah.
so many reasons, and we won't go into that. But it also, I agree with you. It opened up the door to, for example, my freelance world, the virtual assistant. There were very few companies prior to COVID-19 that would embrace their staff working from home. Like that's not happening. Because if you
Right.
work from home, you're not working, you
Right.
know. Um, they had no choice.
Yeah.
They had to do that. Now it's kind of shifting back. So there's hybrids of that now.
Yeah.
Or some companies are like, no, I want everybody back in the office. So, but I think overall it'll be a blend.
Hmm.
So that's not necessarily a bad thing. That was a
No.
good thing. And
No.
for many businesses, had they not done that, they wouldn't have survived.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and takeout menus at restaurants skyrocketed.
I know. I
And
know.
DoorDash or whatever
Yes.
the other ones,
Yes.
these
Yeah.
were delivery services. They were just minor prior to that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
some really good things did
Yes.
come out of it.
For
And
sure.
and
Yeah.
it meant having a mindset shift to do
Yeah.
that.
Well, while we're talking about virtual assistants, let's stick on that for a
Okay.
second. So, you train women or men to be virtual assistants.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what is that all about? Like, what do you do?
Well, because I have been in the administration um, for many, many years, and for a good part of it, I was more at the executive level
Yeah.
with CAOs and, you know, in government, in ministers and things like that. So there are certain protocols and practices, best practices, that's going to get you there. And so if you're down here at the bottom or you're just the clerk just coming in, but your aspirations are here, that's where I can help provide you some guidance in
Ah,
where you should be focusing. What are they looking for? And it's not about what you yourself want, it's about what they want. About
right.
what your employer wants or your
Right.
client wants if it's your
Right.
business. Um, because if you're focusing on what you want, they don't want you.
Right. Yeah, I
So
get it. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where my training comes in. I have one course that's it's a self-guided one. It's all pre-recorded and it basically takes you from I want to start a business to you're operating.
I love that. I
And
didn't
it
know you had that.
yeah,
Ah,
it's just a like there's four modules and there's little mini videos in
oh,
each module so
yeah,
that you can
perfect.
you can stop and start and listen.
Yeah.
And but I give, the people in the course, I give them, various tips and tricks that I've done or what failed. Don't do that.
Hmm.
And then the resources to go with it, like a workbook and budget planning and all of
Yeah.
that and
Wow.
how to get your business off the ground and
Yeah.
start working. And
Wow. Well, you've certainly got the education and experience
yeah,
to be able to help people along with that.
yeah,
And that is so important. And I think it's more and more needed. We all need some help. Especially people that have their own businesses and they work a lot from home.
yes.
They need some help.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there are different types of freelancers, and each of them has maybe their specialty.
Yes.
Mine tends to be in the administration side, but there are freelancers that just set up podcasts, for example. They manage podcasts. That's
Oh,
an example of a virtual assistant or a
oh,
freelancer. So they
interesting.
do all the podcast management for somebody like you, and all you do is take the show, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one.
Ah.
There's other ones that focus only on building websites or only doing social media.
Hmm.
So you can have a specialty. And in fact, as a freelancer, the more specialty you have, the better.
Ah, so not necessarily that jack of all trades is
That's
really
right. Yeah,
right.
because the more you can what we call niche down
Yeah.
into your target clients, your
Yeah.
target audience,
Yeah.
the more people are going to want your services because they may only be looking for this. They don't want a jack of all trades. They want
Right.
somebody that does this
Yes.
and does it
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
So the more you can niche down and then, do your training, get your expertise in that
Yeah.
from past experience or ongoing learning, because that's a real requirement, then the more likely you are to succeed.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you're right. People don't need everything, but I
Yeah.
remember I'm doing okay now, but I remember like trying to do my own website and
Yeah.
going, I
Yeah.
have just spent 3 days
Yes.
and now I'm crying. I
Oh,
can't like
yeah.
this they sometimes the learning curve is too much.
Well, and it's also about as you said, the time it takes you to do it. And
Yes.
I was like you. I had my own website. My tech guy, who's my husband, built it for me, and
Yeah.
I could, add to it and stuff. But it definitely wasn't really great. And I finally I had spent hours trying to make it better, and I was limited in this, and then, oh, you should use this program. Well, that meant I had to learn a whole new program.
Yes.
And I'm just like,
Yes.
you have to stop and think, what is your time worth? What are you charging your clients for your time? So you're wasting the time you could spend with a client
Yeah.
on doing this website. It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
No,
It
it's
costs you
not.
more in the long run.
Yeah. No, you are
But
so right.
it's a hard thing for a person in business to grasp that
Yes.
and say, yeah, okay,
Yes. Or, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do it myself because I can do it faster.
oh yeah. And sometimes that's true,
Yes. Yeah.
but other times it pays to yeah, if you want it done really well,
Yeah.
then
Well, and we can't do everything.
we can't. We're
No,
you
no.
know we are pretty good, powerful super women, but
Yes, we are.
we still have our limits.
Well, and there's only so much time.
There is. You only have
Yeah.
so much time, and you don't want to be working 24/7
No.
to make your business profitable and
Exactly.
successful.
Yeah.
So,
So how do women find you? So, well, just so everybody knows that
yeah.
I will have the details how to reach out to Trish and all of the information in the show notes. So you'll be able to do that. But right now, how do women normally find you that are looking for this training? Do you do group training or is it more one-on-one or
Well, I've got, as I said, the one is a kind of a pre-recorded, and that's right on my website.
okay.
My website is
Right.
blank-slate.ca because my company is Blank Slate Enterprises.
Yeah.
So that's that. And most of the stuff will have links into there. But the other training I'm doing, and we're just kind of putting the finishing touches on that, is for the next level up. So as I said, the first course I did was just starting your business from the ground and getting started.
Yeah.
The next level, and I've had a lot of requests for this, is, well, how do I get to that next level? Either how do I grow my business?
Mm,
Or if I'm an assistant and I want to be the executive assistant, how do I do that?
hmm.
So this next course is that, and it'll be a combination of some videos, some live webinars with them, group, and then as an add-on, I'll add some one-on-one coaching if they want to take it.
Perfect.
So it's just, my goal is to make sure I can help them
Yes.
forward, whether
Yes.
that's with a business or whether that's in their career in an office
Yes.
or whatever it makes.
Yes.
Um, it's that's my goal is there, and the best way to help them is, I think, this way.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. So that's my invincible VA
Yes.
course.
Nice.
That's what I called it because to be a VA, you have to be strong and invincible most of the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let me shift to something that I'm dying to talk to you about, and that's ageless thriving. I
Oh,
want to know about that. So
that's
what do
my
you do? What are you doing with that? So
well,
you're focusing mainly on women around the 55 plus? Yeah,
yes,
who are
yeah.
feeling invisible or think they're past their prime?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I'm a senior myself, I thought, well, I should probably look at, what's going to work for women like me. Um, I mean, I have been very fortunate and refired my career and have a business, but not all
Mm-hmm.
women are there. And so many of them, they the one I find the hardest for many women, men too, but I think more women, um, they may get something medical that is, a really serious medical thing, and then they just withdraw.
Mm,
They stop moving, they stop socializing,
mm,
they just withdraw within themselves. And that is the worst thing we can do. The
mm-hmm.
worst thing we can do for ourselves is just withdraw into ourselves because it takes away, as humans, we are meant to socialize
Mm-hmm.
in some way or another, not necessarily in person, but we're a social society.
Yes.
Um, so if they stop moving, then their health is going to get even worse. And that is a big
Mm-hmm.
thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or they start the negative self-talk
Mm-hmm.
and, well, I can't do that anymore. I'm too old, or I ate too much, so I can't do that. And
Right.
that's too hard. And they're constantly
Mm,
telling themselves that. So
mm,
this program, I want it to be to help them get past that. Oh, I just have to stop everything because I can't do anything,
yeah.
and get back to thriving, get back to living their life.
Well, you
And
know what I think? I think that when we hit that senior level in the world, we are so smart. We have lived all those years. We've dealt with
yeah,
husbands and boyfriends and children and bosses and ran a house and possibly ran a business and
yeah,
all those kinds of things. You may have been at that stage where you had taken care of kids and taken care of elderly
yeah,
parents. We have so much wisdom
we
in
do.
us
We
that
do.
we got to share it.
Yeah. And
And
that's
and I
exactly
yeah,
what
and I
I'm,
think it's just I think so often when women don't realize the treasures they've got in them.
oh,
But
most
that's a
definitely, which is why your
yeah,
books are so good. It's the
yeah,
same
why my
thing.
books are so good.
That's why, because
Yeah.
um, we have all of this practical wisdom. I mean,
Yes.
yes, you may be well educated and you'll have all of that, but
Yes.
we have so much more practical wisdom because, society over the years, I mean, it's changing now. More men are getting into the parental thing, but many,
Yes.
many years it was the woman raised the family and the man
Yeah.
went out and worked.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean you didn't have valuable wisdom
Oh,
that you could pass on, or how you got through this. And that's,
yes.
what like with my wall of resilience, the same thing. It's how are you getting through that? How are you going forward? And maybe you can help other women that are doing that. And
Yes.
that's the whole thing. I want to help them continue to be thriving. So that's why I called it ageless thriving.
I loved it. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what do you want to say to women who might think, "Oh, it's too late for me?"
No, it's never too late. It's never too late for that. You
Mm,
could be in your 90s
yeah.
and still, you know, carrying on and contributing to society and to yourself. Like,
Mm.
you know, so many, unfortunately, so many women live longer than men.
Hmm.
Our lifespan is longer, and I see a lot of senior women that are on their own for the first
Yeah.
time in their life because they were in a long-term marriage and lost their partner, and they don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's so vitally important. And the the idea that the government has put on in the last few years, I agree with it. You know, they're encouraging seniors to stay in their homes, right?
Yes.
They get
Yeah.
care, stay at home because you know you're in a comfortable place and you know where everything is. The downside of that is
Hmm.
if they don't get involved in their community, in their seniors community, then they start withdrawing and
Yeah.
start doing nothing. And all they're
Yeah.
going to do is sit on the couch and watch TV all day or go
Yeah.
on their phones and go on social media, and
Yeah.
they don't thrive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need, as senior women, we
Yeah.
need to stay active. We need to stay uh, you know, involved
Yes. Yeah.
with the community.
Yeah.
And we help each other that way.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And listening to you, I it made me think of a few ladies that I know that have moved on to retirement communities,
Yes.
and they went kicking and screaming.
Uh-huh.
But within 2 weeks, they're on the social committee,
Yeah.
they're going here, they're going there.
Yeah.
They've got their best friend down on the second floor that they got to
Yeah.
go have coffee with. I mean, it's a community in there.
It
And
is.
they're not alone anymore.
No, and that's
No.
so, I know my in-laws are in a similar situation in Kamloops, and they begrudgingly had to move there. They didn't have a choice of other circumstances. They had to move into a retirement community. But oh yeah, like morning coffee at 9:30, you better be downstairs so you
Yeah.
can socialize, you know.
Yes, that's right.
Or card night or bingo night, or you know,
Yeah.
and it's, yeah, and it's funny to, you know, to listen to them because of course when you get a community, especially in a small community, there it's never smooth. There's always somebody who wants to rock the boat.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. It's still
Yeah.
getting them involved. It's still
Yes.
getting them
Yeah.
socializing
Yeah.
and active. And
Yes.
that being active and socializing is, it's just, that's the
Yeah.
number one thing to
Yeah.
keep thriving.
And I think for ladies that aren't quite at the retirement community stage, um, I myself moved to a new community about 6 years ago and had no friends out here.
Yeah.
And I was nervous about what I was about to do, but I went to some networking groups
Yes.
and now I
Yeah.
have friends.
Yeah,
Like they're
and
not
that's the
just,
same what I
oh,
did. When I
yeah,
became a virtual assistant at home,
yeah,
that was one of my fears because I'd worked in an office. I had all kinds of people in the office. You'd go for
yes,
coffee, you'd go for lunch or whatever,
yes,
right? Socialize. And then I started working from home and it was just me, myself, and I. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
one of the first things I did was I joined a couple of different networking groups, and you know, some I don't belong to, some I do now, or you try new ones. But
yeah,
it's amazing, like the community I have of, I call friends now,
yes,
that I had no idea that
yes,
even existed
yes,
before because
yeah,
there wasn't a need for it, right?
right, right,
We tend not to, we tend not to become involved in something until we need it.
yes,
But that's okay. That's
yes,
okay. But
yeah,
yeah, like you know, if you're by yourself or you're working from home, yeah, networking groups are pivotal in keeping
yes,
you there and so
yeah.
supportive.
So supportive. You're right.
Yeah.
You can, if you don't have a work issue to talk about, well, they'll listen to you about your
Oh,
personal
you
and
bet.
see what they can
Yes.
help. Everybody just wants to help. I know they're just,
Yeah.
yeah, they're fabulous. They're fabulous. And
Yeah.
I belong to two. I've got one that I go in the morning, and then I've got another one that I go once a month in the evening. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but I learn something, and I,
Yeah,
like you say, it's social. I make friends, and
yeah,
I'm doing carpooling to an event together.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's the one I belong to. We actually a group of a portion of the group. I mean, there's several chapters in this
yeah.
particular networking group, but we all went together for a trip to Mazatlan last November.
Oh my goodness, that is
And
spectacular.
we
That's
we
the
had
way to do it.
it was great. I mean, we did business every day when we were
Yeah,
down there. We had learning every day
yeah.
and follow up to do and we had social things we did together.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Like it just
Ooh.
made that particular portion of the group even closer.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, wow. We have just talked about so much. We've touched on your story, your beautiful story in the book. And I hope that if somebody, is struggling out there with their family or with their children or anyone in their
Yeah,
family with addiction issues, they get the book and read your story because it is uplifting as well.
right.
And there is a, thank goodness, positive ending to that. And then we talked about get some training so you could go be a virtual assistant. And then we talked about, you know, thriving, not like sitting on the couch watching. I don't even know what you watch during the day these days. All the
I
shows my
don't
mom
know
used to
either.
watch are all done. They're all gone.
All the soap
I think
operas.
I
Yeah.
think Young and the Restless is still around.
Oh, I'm sure that in
Yeah.
General Hospital, if I were,
Yeah.
I can remember as a child being babysat by my neighbor
Yeah.
who watched General Hospital every afternoon.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I remember turning it on the TV a few years back and I'm like, it's still on.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
I know, I know.
Got a following.
My mom was Young and the Restless and it's still on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely not.
don't let that be your sole focus.
No, not your sole focus. No, no, no. Yeah. Well, we unfortunately need to close. But
Uh,
I have enjoyed this so much, Trish, and I'm so thankful that you came on. I saw you registered for a podcast and I was like, "Yay, this is going to be so good." And it was so good. So, in closing, what would you like to leave our listeners with? What's one message about resilience, thriving, and living with purpose that you would like to share?
oh. Um, I think probably going back to what I said earlier, look at making a positive mindset choice. Um, you know, your attitude is a choice. So
Yes,
whatever choice you make makes you.
you're so right. It is sometimes we don't think we have a choice,
Yeah.
especially when you get that kid who like knows those buttons.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
got one of
yeah,
those. Oh, let's get this button today.
yeah,
But you're
yeah.
so right. It
And
is
it's
a
just
choice.
yeah, and above all, believe in yourself.
Mm,
Believe in yourself. That is so, so important because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to be able to help anybody else. So
yeah.
I guess those are the two things I would say. Believe in you and look at your being grateful for what you have and making the right choices, the positive choices, the
Yeah.
attitude, the right
Yeah.
attitude.
Wow. Well, that was perfect for an ending. Absolutely perfect. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get all of Trisha's details about her course, about her ageless thriving, and her book. I'll put a link to her book there as well, in case you want to read her story, in the notes there. So don't be shy, especially if you're a lady who's feeling a little struggles, reach out to Trish. She's got some stuff going on that can help you for sure. So, or get out there and join a networking group. Do that too. Do
Yeah,
both of those
do both.
things. Do both. Do both. Yes. Okay, Trish. Well, thanks again. And thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Julie. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.